This is a post-debate mop-up for June 28th. I'm David Feldman here in New York City, and you're listening to the Zoom watch party where hundreds of my listeners join me to watch the CNN debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. On a personal level, we maxed out the room. I've never done this before, so thank you to everybody for showing up. In just a moment, I'm going to open the floor and find out what my guests thought of the debate. Donald Trump is an adjudicated rapist. He is a predator. He is a con artist. He is not a serious man. He is a liar. So he came into Thursday night's debate with a distinct advantage because he doesn't have to tell the truth. He doesn't have to offer policy. He just needs to do what he does best, bully and be glib. There's nobody better at bullying and being glib. Donald Trump can attack, but he offers no solutions. We saw that during his 4 years as president. He creates problems. He doesn't solve them. Biden made a big mistake this evening. He forgot to laugh at Trump. We saw it at the end when he flashed his blinding smile, but he forgot to laugh. There was that split screen, and he forgot to laugh. You might remember in 2008, when he was running for vice president, he destroyed Sarah Palin by laughing at her. He destroyed Paul Ryan in 2012 when he debated Paul Ryan, who was the vice presidential candidate under Mitt Romney. Biden was able to win both those debates by just looking into the camera and laughing at his opponent. This evening, Joe Biden forgot to laugh at Donald Trump. Instead, he looked stunned. Not a good look. So whoever coached Joe Biden needs to get fired, because all Joe Biden needed to do this evening was laugh whenever Trump opened his mouth. The debate covered a lot of issues. Trump and Biden argued over their golf handicaps. Biden wasn't afraid to take off the gloves. He called Trump a child. Biden called Trump a whiner. Biden said Trump won't accept the results of this election because he's a whiner. And Biden basically called Trump fat. Trump said it goes without saying that he opposes political violence, so he didn't say it. Trump continued to lie about 2020 and said he would only accept the results if the election is fair. Trump was taking on his 2016 persona. He went on and on about how this country is failing. He warned that we're on the brink of World War III. Biden then accused Trump of telling Putin to do whatever he wants. In terms of coming off arrogant, Trump won. In terms of creating the illusion of being in control, Trump won. Because Trump is a predator and a con artist. And the debate is perfect for the con. Anybody who has ever been groomed, molested, or raped knows exactly who Donald Trump is. He is the charming, authoritative priest. Father Fred? Those boys must be lying. We know who Donald Trump is. The question that remains is, do the American people? Trump is a predator, which is why he comes across so good on television. All he has to do is come across good on television because he's not about anything else other than the con. Biden comes into the debate with a distinct disadvantage. He's got a lot going on in his head, the same way Barack Obama had a lot going on in his head when he debated Mitt Romney the first time. Biden's the president, and he is trying to fix things. He's paying attention to details that puts him at a disadvantage in a presidential debate. Trump was restrained. Biden was soft-spoken. Trump spewed lies. Biden tried to correct some of them. Biden went on the attack. When Trump brought up inflation, Biden said there was no inflation when Trump was in office because the economy was flat on its back. I was glad to see that Dana Bash asked about climate change. But Trump, when asked about reversing Biden's green initiatives, Trump immediately changed the story and talked about the fictitious migrant crisis. Then he lied and said, under his administration, we had the best environmental numbers. To his credit, Biden said, where has this man been? But he didn't laugh. He didn't laugh. When Trump lied about how the Paris Accords were demonstrably punitive towards America, and that's why he pulled out, Biden should have just laughed. Trump lied and lied and lied. He said Biden was afraid to fire people. Trump wasn't. Trump lied and said, I fired Comey, the head of the FBI, because he was no good. No, Donald, you fired Comey because he wouldn't stop looking into Russiagate, and you should still be tried for obstruction of justice over that. Trump was asked if he would prosecute Biden if he returned to the Oval Office, and Trump refused to say. Trump did call Biden a criminal, and then Biden went for it. He said things that I didn't think he would bring up. He mentioned that Donald Trump had sex with a porn star while Melania was pregnant. And you'll notice at the end of the debate, Jill Biden walked out on stage to give Joe a hug. No, Melania, they're still negotiating their prenup. This will now be the sixth negotiation of their prenup. Biden went for it. He brought up E. Jean Carroll. He brought up the sexual assault. And all Donald Trump could do was lie. He said, I never had sex with Stormy Daniels. He didn't deny E. Jean Carroll. Instead, Trump blamed the weaponization of the New York State District Attorney's Office. Trump accused Biden of not being able to win fair and square. So he ordered the state of New York to prosecute him. He ordered Fulton County, Georgia, to prosecute him. Biden said the more Trump voters learn about who Trump is and what he's done, then the more they will be voting against democracy. Biden went on the attack. It was too soft-spoken. He accused Trump of not doing anything about Afghanistan. He said no troops anywhere in the world are dying right now under the Biden administration. That is true. He did end the war in Afghanistan, which I happen to believe was one of his signature accomplishments. Was it violent and dirty? Of course it is. When you lose a war, you don't leave without a trail of blood. Biden attacked Trump on the tax cut for the rich. The split screen worked to Joe Biden's disadvantage. Trump just seemed calm and reserved. In the first question, Biden seemed not so much nervous as gentle, soft-spoken, and frail. He looked a bit stunned, and his stammer was acting up. He needed to laugh. Everything that came out of Donald Trump's mouth was a lie, and to his credit, Joe Biden said that. Who did Biden win over? I don't think too many people. I think people who care about facts, policies, in detail. I think the policy wonks were rooting for Joe Biden. Who did Trump win over? Any idiot voter who thinks a president has to be glib and telegenic. Probably he won over some MAGA supporters by referring to Joe Biden as Brandon. Trump won over people who are looking for simplicity. Trump is a master at branding. He knows how to take a turd, polish it up, and sell it. So how did CNN do? Dana Bash did great. She did a great job on the follow-up to the Ukraine question. Trump said Putin's terms for ending Russia's war are unacceptable. But he offered no solution other than saying, I will have that war settled before I even take office. Well, that's in direct violation of the Logan Act. And he said that twice. He said, I will have the war settled before I take office. The Logan Act violates presidential elects from negotiating with anybody. It's what got General Michael Flynn fired. General Michael Flynn was the national security advisor, and he got on the phone before he was sworn in, before Trump was sworn in, and he called the Russian ambassador and he said, I know Obama is imposing sanctions on Russia because of your Russian interference. Don't reciprocate. I'm not the national security advisor yet. I haven't been sworn in. But when Trump takes office, we're going to reverse those sanctions. You're not allowed to negotiate with another country when you're not officially the president or the national security advisor. Michael Flynn lied to the FBI about this, and that's why he only lasted, 16 days as national security advisor. Biden is doing something I've never seen before. He's selling the war in Ukraine as a jobs bill. He's saying the quiet part out loud. You're not supposed to say that war is good for the economy. Biden is saying that. He's saying that the billions spent on Ukraine go to weapons manufacturers here in the United States. The best question was asked by Jake Tapper when he said, President Trump or former President Trump, you talk about a massive deportation of undocumented migrants, millions, separating families, separating children from their parents, separating wives from their husbands. Trump wouldn't answer it. The worst question from Jake Tapper on border security. He perpetuated the lie that migrants are a burden on this country instead of a gift. This is a lie. On a previous show, I talked about the hundreds of cities around America that are begging for the migrants. Hundreds of cities around this country are begging people to move to their cities. They're offering $10,000 to move to their cities. We have a population implosion in this country. We have a fertility crisis in this country, and it is the job of Jake Tapper and CNN to tell the truth that if we continue on the path we're going, with fewer and fewer citizens in the United States, the economy will collapse. There will be no workers to pay into Social Security and Medicare. So when Donald Trump was talking about Joe Biden putting these migrants on Social Security and killing it, the truth is migrants pay into Social Security, but they're not entitled to it. And until we get a couple more million people into this country, Social Security, Medicare, and the social safety net are going to collapse. And it is the responsibility of Jake Tapper to bring that up instead of perpetuating the lie that the migrants at the border are a crisis as opposed to a gift. The worst question. Did CNN, both sides, Trump's fire hose of lies? No, they never corrected him once. Not once did CNN correct Trump lies. Trump spewed a fire hose of lies. He said the tariffs, he lied and said the Chinese are going to pay the tariffs, that the economists are all wrong, the tariffs cause inflation. He lies. Trump automatically assumes that most Americans don't understand how tariffs work. So he says, the economists are wrong. My tariffs on China are paid by the Chinese. No, when you place a tariff on Chinese goods, it makes them more expensive to American consumers. The idea being, okay, I'm not going to buy Chinese products because they're too expensive. I'll buy American. That's why you have tariffs. The whole idea of tariffs is to jack up the cost of Chinese imports. It causes inflation. Nobody corrected Trump on that. He said that he never called troops who died and served overseas losers and suckers. He said 19 people said, I never said it. Well, you said it privately to your chief of staff, General Kelly. So Those 19 people weren't standing next to you in Arlington. It was just you and General Kelly. So how could 19 people say you never said it? He called Afghanistan the most embarrassing day in our country's life. No, when you were elected in 2016. Pulling out of Afghanistan is one of Joe Biden's greatest accomplishment. The lie, the blood lie that migrants commit crimes, it's just a lie. They're not importing fentanyl. That's a lie. Even the Cato Institute, a right-wing libertarian Koch brothers funded think tank, says fentanyl is being brought into this country legally at the border by American citizens. The Supreme Court didn't approve the abortion bill last week. It approved the right of the FDA to approve or disapprove. He lied when he said every legal scholar wants abortion left up to the states. To the credit of the president, he corrected Trump on this. And then he spread the lie about late-term abortion. And nobody is equipped to handle his lie about late-term abortion. It's so unseemly and so untrue. This idea that because of Roe v. Wade, doctors are executing babies after they're born. To Joe Biden's credit, he went into the gutter and said, you know, because of you and your Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade, girls are being raped by their father, uncle, and have to carry their babies. I didn't think Joe Biden would go there. Trump lied and said his tax cuts spurred the economy. But if you look at the 2017 tax cuts, if you look at the GDP under Donald Trump, as we have done on this show, yes, there was a sugar high in 2018 after the 2017 tax cuts. But the growth of our economy plummeted. We didn't go into a recession. But after the tax cuts, I showed you these charts, after the tax cuts for the rich, 2 quarters into 2018, the rate of growth of our economy began to slow, and we saw a GDP growth far below that of President Obama's and far below that of Joe Biden's. Every time it's been applied, tax cuts for the rich under Reagan, tax cuts for the rich under George W. Bush, tax cuts for the rich under Donald Trump, you get a sugar high 1 quarter, and then the GDP plummets, and it increases the budget deficit and then eventually our debt because you have less money coming in because of the tax cuts. Supply side economics is a lie. The lie that if you cut taxes for the rich, they'll create so many jobs that the Treasury will be overflooded with tax revenue. We've now tried it 3 times and it doesn't work. Trump said more people died from COVID under Biden. Well, COVID happened because of Donald Trump. He refused to take credit for the vaccines, although he did take credit for the therapeutics. And he spread the lie that he had the best economy ever, and it would have kept going had we not gotten hit by COVID. You didn't get hit by COVID, you ignored it. He went after Biden for the mask mandates, the vaccine mandates, and said that Biden is just the beneficiary from bounce back jobs. As for Gaza, Trump blamed the October 7th attack on Iran. He said it's because Joe Biden unfroze Iran's assets, and that provided Iran with enough money to fund Hamas's invasion. That's not true. Hamas was funded by a lot of countries, including Qatar, and Iran still refuses to take credit for October 7th. Trump said he would let Israel finish the job and then accuse Biden of being a Palestinian. So you basically know how Trump would react to what Netanyahu is doing in Gaza. As for Ukraine, we're now entering the 3rd year of Russia's invasion. Trump was asked, are Putin's terms of ending Russia's war in Ukraine acceptable? And Trump refused to answer the question. He blamed instead Biden for the invasion, but he never said whether he would agree to Putin's demand that Ukraine stay out of NATO. The lie that Republicans tell, and Trump told it, is that Putin invaded because of the botched pullout of Afghanistan. Again, Afghanistan was one of the best things Biden ever did. As Biden pointed out in the debate, no American troops died overseas while he's president. They died while Trump was president because he didn't pull us out of Afghanistan. Biden did.
It's time right now for the David Feldman Show.